Good morning, everybody. Sorry for that, a couple seconds late there. EV Mux was taking a hot second to upload, but this is United versus everybody. I am your host, Sean, and welcome back this morning as we are here to give our thoughts and discuss Man United's 4-0 rout of Everton. Because I don't know about you guys, but that match went much better than I could have ever expected, quite frankly. And again, we can be excited, new manager bounce. We can say it's just Everton. We have been scoring, but again, you're never really 100% confident in some of these United players these days. And so I'm happy with that. I know I did predict the 4-1, but I'm not going to complain about a clean sheet either. I don't want to split hairs too much. But I also want to get your thoughts on that. Obviously, talk a little bit about the match performance. I'm going to share my 3 takeaways from the match, of course, as always. A couple of things to get through first and foremost before we dive into the action, though. So before we do that, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. We are on the road to 2K, and I haven't checked it in a little while, but I know that we're getting super close. So with your guys' help, we can get there, and with your guys' help, it gets you closer to the next giveaway. Now, this is a 21-22 home shirt. It is a large. It is brand new. This is what will be given away when we hit that 2K mark. And I've been told, I need to remind you guys, and you'll see that in the description, YouTube is not responsible or liable, or they do not sponsor any of these giveaways. This is all me. So don't come after YouTube. And all you need to do is shoot your details if you win, and you send it to my email address. None of the information you give me is going to be used for anything other than giving you your shirt. So just get all that out of the way. My boy Jay is getting involved nice and early this morning. How are you, my friend? Hopefully your back is doing better, my guy. Hopefully you had a weekend to chill, get your feet up a little bit, take a little bubble bath, throw on some jazz. You know how it is. So I want to get your thoughts first and foremost on a little bit of some of the protests going on outside Old Trafford ahead of kickoff yesterday. I don't know if you saw some photos from the ahead of the match, but people are not happy about Ineos increasing ticket prices, especially ticket prices for the kids. I think it was jumped up from like 33 pounds to like 60 something pounds, basically doubled in price. There were a lot of protesters. There was a huge sign, big banner said with like the hashtag stop exploiting loyalty. I want to get your thoughts on that. Some of you are going to be regular match going fans. Some of you might even be season ticket holders. I am not a season ticket holder. Obviously, I live in the U.S. I have gone to several matches. I will be going next month. Justin, we're going to be going in a month and a half, bud. So hope you got your fun to wear on, because that's going to be a good time. So I say all that to say that some of us in the day-to-day aren't going to be affected by the ticket price too much, but the regular match goers, and especially the kids, are kind of getting the short end of the stick in that regard. Keep in mind, the money's not going to Sir Jim. He's not like, I'm going to double prices and I'm going to pocket all that and take it as my dividend. The money is, it's an attempt to clear some of the debt. Now, and that's when we've seen that from Ineos, right? Cutting some of the staff redundancies. I totally get it from a business standpoint, from what you inherited. I get it. You're looking at why things are the way they are, how they got there, and how to make changes. And that's one of the changes. And that does suck for people who were laid off. I get it. Cutting back on the lavish expenses, the travel, the food, all of the perks and things. I get that too, right? It's a bummer for the people who it affects, but I get it. But raising ticket prices really should be like the one thing that should be kind of off limits. It should be a no-no when it comes to clearing some of that debt. You have to find another way to clear the debt, in my opinion, than simply raising ticket prices, especially for children. Now, I don't know the ins and outs of why that decision came about. Did they see that there's not that many children showing up anymore? Like, I don't know. You guys might have a better idea than I do. But in my opinion, there's got to be a better way. So I just wanted your thoughts. So share your thoughts as we keep going here with some more news ahead of the match review. So ahead of a bit of positive news, Cheeto Obi Martin, obviously our young striker we got from Arsenal, he has signed his first official professional contract this week. He just turned 17. He signed his new contract with United. Future does look bright. The academy is looking the best I've seen it since in like 30 years. I'm super excited. I know he comes highly rated. A lot of us are buzzing. We want to see him get in action. He's scoring for fun, along with Ennis, guys like Montato, Ibrahimov. All these guys are doing bits in the academy right now. I think they've got another game tomorrow. United obviously play Wednesday against Arsenal. I will do the match preview of that tomorrow. And we've got the Academy and United play again Saturday. So moving on to some transfer news. There are reports coming from Spanish outlet Relevo that Real Madrid have inquired about Diogo Dalot. What are your thoughts on that? Obviously, I've spoken many, many times that I feel like Madrid really, really shot themselves in the foot in the summer by not prioritizing defenders. Carvajal's gone. Militao is always a sick note. Alaba's old. He's always injured. Who else is their defense that's always injured? They just picked up another injury. But I saw rumors last month that Nacho might be coming back, like just to help them. Like they're not looking great right now. Their defenders are dropping like flies. They spent a lot of money. Yes, Kylian Mbappe was a free sign. There was no such thing as a free signing, but I didn't think they needed that. But it sounds like they're looking at defenders, or they've been heavily linked with Alphonso Davies, heavily linked with Trent Alexander-Arnold, and now we've got reports that they're supposedly interested in Diogo Dalot. So you let me know your thoughts on that. Would you sell Dalot? Do you really think Madrid could be in form? He doesn't seem to me, the profile of player Dalot is, he doesn't seem to me anymore to really fit this system very, very well, unfortunately. He's a straight up fullback. He's not a fullback, in my opinion, that excels like 9 out of 10 on a weekly basis in any given area. Like his final ball is not great. His defending is not as great as it could be. And it's, for me, that's more of a focus thing. But you guys let me know. We could get a lot of money for Dalot. We could make some money, and it could just be a matter kind of like Scott McTominay or even Rashford this summer potentially. It may not be that we fully want to, but it might be sell to buy. It might be a financial thing. And if Amorim doesn't think he fits, that is what it is. But you let me know your thoughts, because on that position, though, it has been reported now that United had scouts in attendance for Lecce's match against Juventus yesterday, where they were keeping an eye on Lecce's left back, now kind of right midfielder, Patrick Dorgu. This isn't the first time we've been linked with Dorgu. We've been linked with him since last season. I know that he comes really highly rated. Danny B, one of the regulars on the channel, loves Dorgu. He scored that winner the other day against Venezia as well. Really good, highly rated young player. He's kind of gone this Gareth Bale route where he's moved from left back over to right midfield. So could that be why we're looking at him a little more heavily? So we'll see how that goes. And finally, before we jump into the match reaction fully, keep an eye on the FA Cup draw. I think the third round is that what the round is. That draw is sometime today. So I think we are ball number 23 or something. So maybe they'll let Pep pull the balls out of this. We know he likes handling balls. So let's jump into the match because all sorts of stuff going on. Obviously, big win, 4-0, massive at home, clean sheet, another clean sheet for Andre Onana. I'm loving what I'm seeing. Lots of rotation on the starting 11, if you guys noticed. 6 changes by Ruben Amorim in each of his last 2 matches, which is always kind of iffy. I get it. There's a lot of extenuating circumstances going on right now, a lot of little factors at play here, but these kind of decisions can really hurt you because not only is it a new system, a new manager, and players coming back, but changing so much in the matches can be hard. And I get it. Not much time for training. Some of the training's got to go on the pitch, but it can be difficult. And you can definitely see a bit of rust, a bit of confusion in some of these players. Do you see now why I needed your help picking the starting 11 in the preview? Because I did not have any idea what was going to happen. So on the starting 11, so Xerxes started over Højlund in a big move. Obviously, Xerxes hasn't gotten a whole lot of minutes recently. And he opted to start Rashford in the 9 role in his first match, and then put Højlund there last match out. So it's interesting. So Xerxes got the start. Rashford and Bruno in behind him. Dylan and I were texting a little bit before the match kicked off after the starting 11 was released, and this ended up being the case as well. Maybe the plan was for Xerxes to kind of hold up, be the link-up player with Rashford kind of making some runs. This is exactly kind of what happened. Manu and Casemiro in midfield, so first time we've seen Manu in a little while. Let me know your thoughts on how you think Manu did. Dalot on the left midfield role / wingback, Ahmad on the right. Ahmad is really making that position his, and we're going to talk a little bit about Ahmad later. Same back 3 that we've been seeing, and I really like what I've seen from this back 3 right now. It's a really good 3. Licha, De Ligt, and Yoro. I think Yoro is one of those players who can almost play anywhere, not so much like a John O'Shea, Wes Brown kind of mold. Like, he's just class no matter where you play him. And you can go back and forth on where his best position is, but he's world class everywhere he played so far. So I have no problem with that. Some highlights from the match as it unfolded. I was taking notes. So things that jump out at me, like we seem to struggle against sides that press us too heavily, but that's been the case for a while. Big up, Danny. Good morning, my friend. How are you doing? Is your wife back in town yet? Safe travels. Let me know how it's going. And again, we just don't seem to move the ball quick enough. We seem to struggle. We seem to kind of get a little like a deer in headlights when a team presses us, no matter if it's a League One side or Champions League level side. We just struggle against pressing sides because our players just can't move the ball. The patterns aren't quite there mentally. And we discussed in the preview that Everton were going to make the midfield compact. They were going to be a little more physical. So it just didn't make sense that we were going to try to play through that. I thought we looked much better when we were making the switches. We were finding the wide players. We kind of started to let the first half we lost a little of the physical battle in the first half. And you can tell we struggled to kind of move the ball the same way we did on Thursday. And I was getting a little concerned. And that deflected goal from Rashford really, really helped. I didn't even check and fully see. Let me go check. Did they actually credit that to Rashford? Was a shot going on target, or did they give that as an OG? I meant to check, and I completely forgot. Let me go see. So they did give it to Rashford. Boom, boom, boom. But that deflection, that goal was exactly what we needed at that time. The pressure was building, and then that really just kind of opened the valve a little bit and let some of that off. And did you notice that our set pieces look a little bit different? We're adding a little different tact. We got a lot of players flooded forward. We're floating a lot of balls to the outside of the box. We almost had a couple goals as a result. Had there just been a little bit better finishing. Xerxes grabbed himself a couple goals. I thought Xerxes had a really good first half. And Ahmad really helps make that goal. He's pressing, he's following the ball, he's carrying it in the final third, and then Xerxes is getting on the run to get on a couple of end of these balls. Xerxes got himself a brace yesterday. Thought we turned it up in the last few minutes of the first half. Won the ball back a few times in the opposition half. Really good pressing. Bruno, Ahmad, all these guys. And you see this from an Amorim side. You've seen this in the Champions League against City. They were down. They came back towards the end of the first half, came out firing into the second half early on, same way we did yesterday as well. And he's got a really good knack for kind of motivating players that time. So who knows? You press effectively and shit happens. I mean, who knew? I thought that we started that half well. We ended that half well. But again, the physical battle is where we always seem to struggle when it's pressing. We can go up against a midfield of anyone, of lesser quality, if you want to call them that. But if they just have more energy and they have more fight, then we're going to lose no matter who we start. And so we need to do better at that. Started the second half very well. Like I said, really good pass from Xerxes to find Ahmad wide open, and Rashford really good finish. Ahmad picked him out. Really good link up. I really like that. Good, simple little counterattack to start the second half, and that's what we've been missing. It's been a long time since United have come out firing early in a match or early in a half. Really, we've done that 3 times now under Amorim. We've scored in like the first few minutes of a kickoff, whether it's our second half or start of the match, and I really like that. Still a little rust. Saw a lot of rust on Manu a little bit. Licha and Manu both picked up yellows, so now they will both miss the match against Arsenal. So we'll talk about that tomorrow when the preview. Maguire came on, so we saw a little bit of Maguire. Had a decent amount of minutes, and this is what we could do. We got up by a bunch of goals. We were able to make some of these changes, able to rest some of these players, give them like a half hour, 40 minutes of rest. Shaw came on, Mazraoui went off. Mazraoui's been playing a lot of football. These are the kind of subs you can do later on in the match. I have no problem with that. And Everton had to change up their game a little bit after they went down by a couple goals, so really opened them up and really just made them more vulnerable. And I said this in the preview, I wasn't too worried about Everton. I knew they were going to be physical. We all knew that. But Sean Dyche just plays not to lose, and he doesn't really do anything. He doesn't really take risks or anything. He's just basically always in avoid relegation form from the first match of the season. So it is what it is. Thought we played some good football in the first half. There was another chance for Bruno when he went in one-on-one. And it was a really fluid move because it got from our half to that one-on-one chance with like 2 passes. It was very, very good. I did think Casemiro probably should have been hooked for Ugarte a little earlier. I think that he's struggling to keep up with the physicality in midfield. I think that is an area now that he's not really going to excel in. I think when he doesn't have to be the legs, when he doesn't have to worry about trying to defend against a transitioning side or counter side, especially in that midfield spot, I think he's fine. I just think he couldn't cope with the speed at which the game was being played in midfield. There's a lot of energy in there. So, and then Ahmad once again popping up. Lo and behold, he presses, wins the ball, finds Xerxes for the 4th goal. What a great it's Ahmad. We're going to talk about Ahmad here in a second. But just a couple last minute thoughts as the highlights here. So Branthwaite doing the Lord's work, knocking about 35 million off his asking price yesterday single-handedly. Still a little wrinkles, but we're going to get to that. So I want to talk a little bit about what Ruben Amorim has had to say about the match. So hit that like button for me. Don't forget to get your thoughts in as we're going along here. Danny and Justin are in the house. So Ruben Amorim was asked about Ahmad's performance. He was asked, he seems to be everything you want in a player. Amorim said he was really good again. He's in a great moment, but that moment started with Rude. I've just taken advantage of Rude's work with Ahmad. He's really good defensively, really good attacking, so he has to continue to play like that. You can feel at the end of the game he was really tired, so we have to manage that to increase his physical ability. I'm not seeing him tired, to be honest. Danny says Shankly. Yeah. Branthwaite, like, this is why, like, he's Harry Maguire light, and he's definitely not worth even half of what Everton are asking for him right now. And it's just, I'm not saying he's a bad player, but it's just not worth that. All Everton sees, they see, oh, Harry Maguire went for this much, John Stones went for this much, these English players go for this much. We want to get a piece of that. He's the best player, like really one of the best players we have, so let's see what we can get for him, kind of thing. It is what it is. Like Danny says, rather Maguire year extension than Shine Sanquet. Yeah, I think that Lindelof should be sold. Evans is probably going to retire, and I think we just give Harry Maguire another 2 years, and we can look at someone a little younger. Maybe by that time, Kukonki will be back, will be ready, probably, things like that. Armour probably as well. No problem with that, Danny. He was asked about Xerxes' confidence and if he felt you needed to lift him. And he says, first thing, I need all the players to cope with all the games. I just try to help my players, put them in a good position for their characteristics. And I think today it would be really hard, even for Rasmus, to fight with the 2 center backs. So we tried to push them into position. They are not so comfortable. Josh did a great job. Scoring 2 goals is always important for the confidence. But more important is that the performance, the way he fought in every situation. It was a good day for him and a good day for our team. Yeah. And what I really like about Amorim and his pressers is he's been really good about just throwing little comments in there about tactics. And he did the same this time. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this later. But Xerxes is a striker. People don't want to call him, but he is a striker. He's just a different type of striker than what we see from Højlund. Højlund is a play off the shoulder of a defender and run into space striker. Xerxes is kind of your hold up, your link up, your keep the ball and serve as a focal point kind of striker. He's a really good little sounding board almost for passes and other teammates coming in. Sports predictions. How are you, my friend? Says it's mad early, Sean, but good morning. It is 8:30 where I am, man. I don't know where you are, but it's good to see you, my guy. I've been up since about 5. When you have 2 dogs, it's just the way it works. But yeah, I am a morning person, mostly because I like the quiet in the morning. I like to just get my coffee, chill for a bit in peace and quiet. But I also like getting stuff done. Like by the time most other people kind of are up and going, like most of my stuff's done, like working out, dog stuff, coffee, prepping videos, all that stuff's done. So by the time everyone else is up, I can shower, I can go run errands, I can do what I need to do. Like, I just like that feeling of getting stuff done. It is what it is. So, Amorim was asked about, three goals in 3 games scoring right after kickoff. I just spoke about that a little bit ago. He says, and he was asked, is this something you've been working on? And he says, I'm just really, really lucky. He says, no, we just want to play well because it's better to start the game by scoring. But if you look at the 3 games, all the decisive moments were for us, and you have to acknowledge that. He says, today we started well, but then we lost control of the game. Again, I thought the same thing. I thought we started brightly, and then Everton just kind of physically started to take control a little bit, especially in that midfield. He says we were following the ball without any possession after 15 minutes, but then we scored in a set-piece play, so it was a key point. And then near halftime, we scored again. Then in the first play again after halftime, we scored the third, so we have to acknowledge that. He says, on Thursday, I think we controlled possession. Today, I think we had some difficulties after the first 15 minutes and had some possessions just to keep the ball and not be so dangerous. He says, in 3 games without trading, they did a great job. So this is even more from the players and the coach. So he's very humble, Amorim. He's making sure not to take too much. He won't even take credit for Ahmad scoring and doing so well. But I guess he said exactly what I said. Like, we started brightly, then we just lost control. But it is what it is. Sports Vision says, from what I've seen from Xerxes is that now he's trying hard to run into the box after he lays it off. Positive improvements. Yeah, and that's what Xerxes is going to be. He's a pass and move, whereas Højlund's more of a, I'm going to make the run and you find me into space. Højlund's best attributes are his finishing and his pace, his power, basically. Xerxes is, I said it the other day, Xerxes is very good with the ball at his feet now. But I've also been critical of what he's been doing with the ball at his feet so far. And yesterday was much better. We're going to talk about him a little later on. I'm just looking through some of the nonsensical stuff, the kind of the boring stuff from the presser. You guys get involved in the chat as I look through this. He said he was asked, is challenging for the league top 4 something you can aim for? And he said, if I said no, you would say I cannot be a Manchester United coach, but I want to be honest with our fans. So let's focus on the performance, not the results. We'll see in the end. I will be judged by the place that we finish. I know that, but let's just focus on the next game and look at the performance. So, yeah, I mean, he's right. He's like, there's not really a right answer. And I don't mind him calling him out, but he's calling him out in like a kind of a joking, kind of playful way, which I don't have a problem with. He was asked if there was going to be a point where he's going to have a first choice center forward. And he says just kind of what I said. We always want 2 players with different characteristics for changing the game. In the future, we'll have a more clear structure of a base in the team. That is normal in every big team. We start this job now. We have a lot of games. We're changing details and training. The games, the way we play is different. Sometimes we have more pressure and cover more distance running. We have a lot of players are training from injury. So he said Kavi was a bit of a risk today because he was supposed to just play an hour. Masraoui was clearly in difficulty. Shaw really wants to play more, but we have to control and rotate the team. Yeah, Kavi probably wasn't, like you said, if Kavi had to pick up that yellow, which meant he's going to miss next match, he probably would have been subbed off, but at that point, it doesn't really matter. So he was asked about some of the goals. He said, 2 goals pressing defenders into mistakes. How impressed are you with players taking on the message? He says, all the team has to understand the type of player and the opponent that has the ball and which situation is the best time to press. Again, what we've spoken about many times, pressing is not always just closing down space. It's knowing when, knowing how, knowing where. Do you press into zones? What are the triggers for the press? Are you coordinated in the press? Those are all factors that go into it. It's not just trying to run after the ball. He said they are smart players and we try to help them. We have to tell them sometimes when to start the press. So everybody has the same mentality in the right moment. We tried that for every game. So he said, you could see after 15 minutes, Everton changed position and Idrissa Gana Gueye was near the line of the center backs. It was difficult for us to cope with that because we've not had training and you cannot adapt like that. So again, kind of calling out some tactical tweaks that Sean Dyche made and stuff. And so, again, I have no problem with everything he said. So what are you guys saying? Sports predictions. I'm in Tennessee, bro, at 7:30. Been up since 4:30, but it's not for my job. I would be sleeping. I have a buddy who lives in Cleveland. He says you guys kind of freak out a little bit when you get snow and ice because it's so hilly. And he says a lot of stuff gets shut down when that happens. Yeah, he lives in Cleveland. So, thoughts on the game. Get your thoughts prepared. I'm going to share my 3 takeaways. We heard from Amorim, and so I want to know what you guys had to say. But I'm going to go ahead and jump in with my first thought on the match. And Ahmad. I love Amad Diallo so much, you guys. What a footballer. What an absolute footballer. Man of the match for me. I don't know about you guys. He fought for everything. He ran all over the pitch. So many opportunities came as a result of him just fighting to win the ball. Just like the FA Cup quarterfinal last year against Liverpool, that final goal. Just Ahmad not stopping, just not quitting on anything. The kid has no quit. Couple stats. So no Manchester United player completed more take-ons, won more tackles, created more chances, or registered more assists than Ahmad today. The guy was just peak today. He won the most duels. He won 12 duels. He had the most tackles, completed 4 out of 4 of his dribbles. He made 3 passes into the final third. He got 4 touches in the box. And this is all from the wide midfield / wingback position. The guy was up and down the pitch. The guy that's his spot to lose. I don't care what anyone says. And then he's so good on the ball. Like, he gets in the box. You guys remember that one instance late on that really could have been a pen for us, where he's got it in the box and he just splits 2 Everton defenders just cleanly to create nothing but space. And then he was tripped. I thought he was tripped, but it is what it is. That's 5 goal involvements from him in the last 5 matches now, and 5 assists this season from Ahmad, which is only right now behind Saka, Salah, and Palmer. So the kid is balling out right now. Hands off, Pep. Both Ahmad and Bruno are actually in the top 5 in the league for assists right now. Both have 5 assists. So the kid has everything: desire, attitude, energy, quality. He's got it all. He never stops running. He never stops pressing. He's always creating something. He's loving his football right now. And Ruben Amorim is reaping the benefits of everything that Ahmad brings to the table. Get the contract signed ASAP. Give him the number 7 shirt. Sorry, Mason, but give it to him. Sports Fiction is still praying for Ruben, bro. He seemed to be the right guy. Yeah, I think I like what I see so far. We just have to be patient with him, Sports Prediction, because, like he said, he's going to be judged by a position on the table, but really he shouldn't. I think a lot of us last year and earlier this season didn't care necessarily if we got top 4, as long as we started seeing identity, and he clearly has that. So Danny says, I think I was very few people to say right wing back would be his best position when everyone thought he plays at 10. I think he can play both. I think because he played so much at Sunderland in that 10, I think that's where a lot of us saw. It's where I like. And to me, it wasn't about. To me, it was more about in relation to the opposition goal. I like Ahmad higher up the pitch, closer to goal, in the box, and I was worried that the wide position meant that he wouldn't do that. But clearly, that's not the case. So I'm very happy with that. But a good call, Danny. Give him a 3-year deal ASAP. Yeah, give him whatever he wants, man. Just sign the thing. Give him the 7 shirt. I don't really care. Put a 0 on Mason Mount shirt for all I care. The African tree are on fire. Onana, Mazraoui, and Ahmad. Yeah, man. They are unstoppable right now. But Ahmad, that position is his to lose. Get the contract signed ASAP, please. That was one of the really, like, we're now seeing, because we signed Ahmad, 4 years ago under Ollie, and then he kind of immediately went out on loan. But now, we're reaping the benefits. So it is what it is. Who knows if, Ollie had played him more, Ten Hag had played him more, maybe one of them or both could be here. Who knows? But Amorim's playing him more, Ruud's playing him more, and we're seeing the benefits. So it is what it is. Moving on to number 2, Amorim ball. So we are seeing more and more with each match what Amorim wants from his players, what Amorim wants in his system, and we're also seeing as well how flexible he can be. When I say Amorim ball, it's not just tactics, it's about manager profile. And remember when we did that video in our early summer about Ruben Amorim, we did that profile. He is very flexible as a manager depending on the situation. And he did the same thing. Everton were making the midfield very tough to get through, so we were holding on to the ball a little bit more on the corners, kind of on the corners of our own defensive third, to try to invite the press, kind of like what Brighton used to do under Roberto De Zerbi, where the center backs would hold on to the ball and invite the press, and then they would just play over it. Except we, instead of playing simple ball over it, we were inviting the press because it drew the whole Everton side closer to us and left players like Ahmad and Dalot wide open in spaces, and we tried to exploit that. Now, where it did fall apart a couple of times is just poor quality in the pass, players holding on to the ball too much, like Dalot was guilty of this a lot. But that's what we were doing. We were trying to invite the press to play the switch. Again, we need to move the ball quicker there. When it works, it works. When it doesn't, we just sort of pass around in a horseshoe shape because we just can't find a way through the press, or we lose it and we open ourselves up to a counter. I do like how Amorim also used, like he said in the post-match comments, how he used Zirkzee to kind of pull Everton's defenders out of position, opening up some space. He was kind of acting as a decoy, as a link up. And both Xerxes and Rashford at times were doing this. They're the number 10s yesterday were playing a big role in creating space for these wide players to run into. There were a few occasions where like Rashford and Bruno would drop a little deeper during the build-up. And again, that pulled the center backs right along with them, and it left some space. We saw this a couple times. And at that point, all it is a simple case for like Dallo, Licha, Mazraoui to play a ball over or around into that space. And that's exactly how we got our goal in the 16th minute. Rashford drops a few yards deep. Branthwaite follows him. Ahmad makes a run. Mazraoui finds him for Ahmad to just basically flash the ball across the face of goal. Xerxes comes in to poke it home. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. We're up by a goal. I mean, our set pieces even look much better now that we've got all this. It wasn't always bunnies and flowers, though. Sports, yeah, Ahmad's only 22. Yeah, he's only going to get better, in my opinion. So it wasn't all bunnies and flowers. Everton pressed the midfield like we said they would. And it took all of 5 minutes for me online ahead of the match to get a better idea of how Everton were going to play. I don't know if Amorim thought maybe we were just better, or I doubt that he didn't prepare, but we were trying it wasn't working. And so that's when we started moving to invite the press in wider positions. Trying to play through the middle against the side who make that impossible was a bit of a mistake in my opinion, especially when we started Cobby, who was very rusty, and we have Casemiro, who just couldn't hang with the pace of that midfield. What that also meant is that because of the rust and the slow speed of Casemiro meant we couldn't hang with the transition when Everton won the ball back, and then countered. And this is why Cobby picked up his yellows and stuff and things like that. I thought the rest defense when we lost the ball was not great. And again, it was just too easy to play through. But Amorim has also admitted, we lose the ball too easily. We're not great in possession, and we're still open against a counterattack. So there was some learning, some growing pains there, a learning curve. I think that it was a bit. I get. Sometimes your hand is forced. I think that when it comes to rotating, I think that rotating so heavily might not have been the best option right now. I think that some players can play a little bit more. And again, you're trying to see people, you're trying to maintain fitness. But I think, like the thumbnail said in the preview, you play Hoyle until he breaks right now. He's in good form. Obviously, after the fact, it was fine because Xerxes scored a brace. But I don't want to rotate just for rotation's sake. I want to make sure that there's a little bit more patience, a little bit more challenge towards some of these players to push and maintain. Because I still don't think we have the numbers, but I don't think we have the quality right now on the bench and the squad to rotate that heavily, that frequently. 6 changes in back-to-back matches is not ideal for me, but it is what it is. I thought the subs he made later on in the first half, and he noticed he made these subs in like the 55th minute. I thought the subs were good, but some of those players should have really started, in my opinion. Not because that some of these players were bad. It's just they're rusty, and I'd rather bring on the rusty players after we're up by 4 goals than take them off. So fair play to Amorim, though. He did find a way to get around it, got a few goals, made those changes, gave minutes to some players, rested a lot of players, and we got the result. So all in all, I like what I see. I'm not going to try to split hairs, but I am going to just also point out the wrinkles that I'm still seeing. So I think there's nothing wrong with that. But you guys let me know what you're thinking about that so far. So I'm going to move on to number 3 of my 3 thoughts. So many goals. We are scoring a lot of goals right now, and I am absolutely here for it. I'm trying to remember the numbers off the top of my head. We've scored a lot of goals in recent weeks, and today was another goal fest. In 3 matches under Amorim now, we've scored straight from kickoff, like within a couple minutes. We vastly outperformed our XG yesterday. Our XG yesterday was 1.07. We got 4 goals. We had 5 shots on target, 4 goals from that. So we're being clinical. Rashford had 2. Xerxes had 2. Højlund had 2 last week in Europe. That's 4 matches and 2 for Højlund and Xerxes. So our strikers are getting involved. And these goals came from teammates trying to find them, which is a nice change of pace. 2 assists for Ahmad yesterday, 2 assists for Bruno yesterday. It's a refreshing change of pace to see people looking for the strikers, trying to find the strikers, being selfless, getting their head up in the final third. And that's, lo and behold, what a surprise, we're getting goals now. Rashford's numbers were solid yesterday. Got a lot of touches in the box, making a lot of good runs, getting shots off, getting goals. His pass percentage was better than we've seen. His goals now yesterday for Rashford actually put him level with Dennis Bergkamp when it comes to Premier League goals. And he's now one goal ahead of Eden Hazard, who some people think is one of the best Premier League players ever. So just saying. Rashford is struggling. He's not been his best, but the underlying numbers show that he can do it when he's on. Would I still keep him this summer? Well, we'll see how he does the rest of the season. But ahead of kickoff, is it 8 goals in 3 games? Sorry, my bad. Ahead of kickoff, it looked like Xerxes was going to be used as a link-up player to get Rashford involved, and that's pretty much what we saw. But I thought overall Xerxes was confident as the game went on. His link-up was good. His hold-up was solid. You guys see that little flick later on in the second half to find go on the counter, like that little back heel, like Ibrahimovic kind of flick. That was impressive. Danny says if he scores another 20, still sell him. Danny is a tough crowd out here today. Xerxes' numbers are really good. 86% pass accuracy, 43 total touches, 3 touches in the box, created 2 chances, 2 defensive actions, 1-2 fouls, scored 2 goals. Much better from Xerxes. I hope he can keep it up because he, like Amorim was saying, like I said, he provides a different profile of striker that can be utilized. Like yesterday, when you're playing a stubborn defense, who can pull players around a little bit, who can get involved, and create space just by planting himself in a spot and being a link-up play. I like what I saw from Xerxes yesterday. He makes a lot of good late runs too to get in the box. Again, it's mental. He's got to cope. He's got to get on board with everything, get up there with the speed of the pace of the game. And yesterday was good. If he can keep it up, I'll be happy with it. Nope, I won't keep Rashford. Sell. I mean, in any case, I guess if Rashford performs, it raises the price tag, right? So we'll see. I read that PSG might be interested in Mo Salah, so that might be our one chance to offload Rashford would be PSG, in my opinion. I don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll see. But we're scoring goals for fun right now. As Sports Fiction says, we got 8 and 3. Our strikers are picking up. That's back-to-back braces for our number 9s. Rashford's got a couple goals. Ahmad's really creating chances for it just by pressing and fighting and carrying the ball. And how about that? Top half of the table now. Don't have to scroll down anymore to find us. Onana also has the most clean sheets in the league at the moment. It's looking good right now. Actually, we have a better goal difference than Man City, which is absolutely nuts. Pun intended, Pep. But sorry, I'm going in on Pep today, but who can't help it. Danny, 20 gold, bro. We will sell him for at least 80, 90 pounds. Yeah, and he's just raising his price tag. Branthwaite killed his price tag. Rashford's raising his. So it's when you win-win. So better GD than Man City. Ruben Amorim, I read, is actually now the first United manager to be 2+ goals up at halftime in his first Premier League game at Old Trafford. So boom, 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 like that. It's not going to be that easy against Arsenal on Wednesday, though. So we're going to talk about that a little bit tomorrow. But it is much better than we've seen from United in a long time. I think I'm glad that we're riding a wave of excitement. We're riding a wave of momentum and form. If the players keep it up, who knows what could happen on Wednesday? I would say I'm not 100% confident. Obviously, Arsenal have a lot more pressure on them than we do right now. I would say I'm less pessimistic. I'm less ambivalent about the Arsenal match than maybe I would have been pre-Amorim, if that makes sense. But you guys let me know your thoughts on that. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. What are you guys saying? And 100% sports predictions, not buying him. That's the trouble. And I thought it was a bit of class from the Old Trafford crowd to give Ashley Young a nice little send-off when he got subbed off in the second half. So, Danny, would you sell in the summer? Oh, who would you sell in the summer? We, and you guys can chat about that in the live chat. We are going to be probably doing another video kind of in January and obviously later on in the spring. So we'll do a January video after we've had a good chance to see Amorim for a few months on maybe revised expectations for the season. And then closer in the spring, we're going to talk a little bit about, we're kind of going to do another revised video on who do we sell, what positions do we need to buy now? Because we did those positions under Ten Hag. We did not do them here. So we're going to do another one after we've seen him here. And then I think next weekend or this coming weekend, I'm going to try to do a video after we've seen a couple matches of Ruben Amorim, what we think his best 11 is now that we're getting to see a lot of players back with fitness. We're seeing the system in full flow. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Sports Fiction says, bro, Arsenal is very, very, very much beatable, bro. Zero fear. We'll see. We will see. Odegaard's back now. I think they might have a couple injuries, which could help us, but we'll see how it goes. Danny wants to sell Dallo, Maguire, Casemiro, Lindelof, Eriksson, Shaw, Rashford, Anthony. Everyone's gone. Everyone's gone. And did you think I was going to end the stream without taking a moment to laugh at Man City and Pep? I mean, I know I've been digging out Pep the whole stream so far, but not enough is being talked about when it comes to their absolute collapse this season. I think so. They lost 2-0 to Liverpool yesterday. If you guys watched that, and there was not at any point in that match where I thought City were coming out with a result. They just couldn't do anything at all. I think Pep touched his balls more than Haaland touched the ball yesterday. Like it was non-existent. Pep is finished, man. The guy is unraveling. He went from scratching himself all over the head to going full Mourinho in the dugout by holding up 6 fingers to the fans when they were going in on him. Like, you never go full Mourinho, bro. You just don't do it. I'm seeing echoes of what I've seen from Mourinho over the years, the petulance, the reactions, just like Klopp in his last couple of years at Liverpool. Like, I think Pep is running out of steam. I think he's burned out, and I think it's coming out in these little, like, just totally just weird moments. Anyone who says he's better than Fergie is either lying or is just a City fan who's only like 20 years old, honestly. The club is a shambles, from the charges to their form this season, to their manager, to the sheer drop-off from guys like Phil Foden. Like, what has happened to Phil Foden? There was a time where I was like, oh, no one likes, City fans don't rate Phil Foden. I think he's good. We should definitely try to swoop in and grab him. But now I'm like, I don't know about that. And so that club is falling apart. And, I'm absolutely here for it. And, like, I know you guys are too. He says not Dallo, Danny. We have to keep Dallo for now. We'll probably keep him till the summer at least, but it's going to depend on if he can fit. Danny says he's not doing himself any favors. Sports Fiction needs to be a lot better. Owning Haaland over Salah the past 5 weeks, killing that. Yeah, that might have killed it all together, man. Sports Fiction says, Sean, I need Man City back on their shit again. I don't want to see that team win again. League titles tying with us. Yeah, of everyone else, I'd rather see City win because everything they have is an asterisk and everything they have could be taken away if they're found guilty. So I'd rather them win. Arsenal fans are already like just unbearable and they haven't even won shit. Liverpool fans, like, they're riding a high. Arne Slot's doing fine. That's a whole separate conversation on the squad that Arne Slot inherited, the stage in their rebuild that he inherited, and why he's like. There's an argument that can be made that there are a handful of managers that Liverpool could have brought in, and they'd probably be doing just as fine as Arne Slot right now, considering what he inherited. But that's a whole nother thing. And also, Spursy yesterday too. If you guys watched that match at all, Spurs drew 1-1 against 10-man Fulham. So. But yeah, no, I hear you, Sports Fictions. Anybody but Liverpool at this point, and quite frankly, Arsenal. But I'm just focused on us right now. We got to do this one match at a time. 3 points, 3 points, 3 points. Let's get it done. If we can lock up qualification for the next phase in Europa League before our last match, I'd love to see some heavy rotation there. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it as far as viewers go. But it is going to be it from me. We can all laugh at City today, and we can all enjoy the 3 points. We'll be back tomorrow to preview the Arsenal match on Wednesday because I didn't realize there was another Premier League game this week, so that's intense. I pray they don't win. There's no atheists in football, right? Everyone's just praying for other teams to lose and praying for wins. I hear you. But thank you guys for joining me today. Justin, Danny, Sports Predictions. Get involved in the chat. Again, we are on the road to 2K, so please like that video if you haven't yet. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new. We will do that giveaway when we get to 2K. And as the video description says, YouTube doesn't sponsor that. YouTube's not responsible for that. I do that on my own. And your information is only going to be used to give you the shirt. So don't worry about that. Spurs will always be Spurs. No worries there. Yeah. And now Ange is out here complaining about they don't have the players to do this. Like, what happened to just, we're going to play our football, mate? Like, come on. Everybody, like, this is why I don't really buy into a whole lot of what managers say in pressers, but it is what it is. But Danny, cheers, pal. Hope you guys enjoyed your weekend. Hope your week is starting off on a positive note. Until next time, enjoy your day. I will see you guys on the next one. Later.